foodie?
I have to
Is
ask
it
Morris this
Franklin?
now. So, I'm going to ask him. So, Morris, we've heard a lot about the ribs at Rudolph's. Were they really as good as from what we've been hearing?
Let me tell you something, man. Rudolph's, Minnesota in general, man. When I first got to Minnesota, it was the weirdest place I think I ever had been at the time, because I'd never been to a place where restaurants was like the hang, like nightclubs. Like it was like we're gonna go to the Rudolph's, and I'm like, Rudolph's, the barbecue place, but it was like the club after the club, and everybody, Jimmy and Terry had their own booth that nobody could sit in but them, had like a rope around it. It's Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis's spot. That's their hang. It was the place to be. Really good food, packed out after the clubs closed up, man. It's like 2 o'clock on was Rudolph's. And everybody went to these restaurants like they were like nightclubs, man. And I'm like, what? I've never been to a place where the smokehouse is the hang, and like people take a limo over to the smokehouse or whatever, and so excuse me, that was crazy, but the food was great at Rudolph's, man. It was really good. I recall I used to love to go there even when it wasn't like club night. We go there and eat, and like I said, Jam and Lewis, if you wanted to see some stars, the stars of Minnesota, that's where you would go. Wow. Because that was the hang, man. And just like we had a place called Williams, in different places, like there were these places, and it was just like that was the places to be, man. That was the hang. And
So, Scotty, were the ribs at Rudolph's as good as what we've been hearing?
Yeah, they were super good. I dated my first serious girlfriend lived about a half a mile from Rudolph's and she worked at Rudolph's. And that was when I was working with Prince, and she was a Prince fan. There was a lot going on there. And so she said she would come home to her apartment and bring me ribs every night. She's like, I said, yeah, just yes. I'll just take ribs whenever you want to bring them back.
It's a good woman.
And she would say, he was in tonight. He was in tonight. She would just say he was there. And I knew who she was talking about. And yeah, they were good. It was the sauce, I think. It was the sauce. There are plenty of ribs that are good. And again, that's a subjective thing. But in general, they fall off the bone, and the sauce was really good. So, okay. Yes.
Yeah, there's going to be a whole load of people in the audience here thinking that can't be true because he was vegetarian or vegan or something.
I don't know. Did he eat them back then? Did he eat them back then? I don't know.
Well, Susan told us that he would get someone to fly the ribs out to him in LA.
That was mid-80s, wasn't it? But I've heard people, so mid-90s, he sort of goes vegetarian and vegan.
I do have one more question, Dave, if that's okay. Susan Rogers told us a very funny story about Prince, so I have to ask you, were the ribs at Rudolph's really that good?
It's funny, I saw him there, and most rock stars, they don't want to be seen. They kind of dress down. I saw him in there once wearing the same outfit he had on the cover of one of his albums, like he'd just come from a photo shoot, sitting all by himself.
Wow.
Yeah, it was good, and it was a very stylish place. I saw all kinds of people. Once I was in there, Boss Skaggs was sitting at the next table, and yeah, it was good, and it was a hip, stylish place. It wasn't some old rib shack like down south. It was quite a place. And Prince lived near there for a while too, So
yeah,
it was good, And back then there weren't as many rib places. Now they're all over the place, It was quite the institution. Yeah,
I had to ask.
I had many coleslaws there.
To kind of lighten things a little bit, I have a question about Paisley Park. It's kind of, I hope to go there next year. I know the Solitary Adventure has already been there. I'm hoping to go next year. I am a foodie. What are the good places around there to eat? Can you name one or two?
I don't know. I haven't lived in Minneapolis. I was in college
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
up until 2004. I would recommend, I don't know if it's still there, but you can look it up, the place that Prince loved, that was his favorite, which is Rudolph's Barbecue. So
Okay.
Rudolph's Barbecue in Minneapolis be
Yeah.
open late, and he loved that. And when we were out at Sunset Sound, occasionally he'd have someone, one of his staff, go to Rudolph's, get an order of ribs, and then put them on a plane and fly them out to Los Angeles. They love Rudolph's Barbecue, so you might check that out.